In December 2023, millions of Americans were shocked as they heard congressional testimony regarding campus antisemitism from the presidents of 3 Ivy League universities: Claudine Gay of Harvard, Liz Magill of UPenn, and Sally Kornbluth of MIT. At that time, IBSI published an article entitled, "Ivy League Scapegoats Will Not Address the Real Problem." These 3 women quickly became the new focus in the ongoing battle against Jew hatred in academia. But therein lies the problem. There is a cyclical trap that much of the Israel advocacy world falls into, especially when dealing with campus anti-Semitism. That trap is a type of focused diversion. The best historical example is Israel advocates' response to the Israel apartheid lie, which emerged from the 2001 Durban Conference on Racism. After Durban, the 2 most oft-used weapons against Israel on campus were BDS, resolutions and hearings, and Apartheid Week or month, during which Israel and Jews are constantly demonized. Both anti-Israel events are dutifully led by student groups like Muslim Students Association or Students for Justice in Palestine. In the case of BDS hearings, pro-Israel student activists are instructed to show up, stand in line at the podium, and refute the endless Hamas-style lies as if defending a man wrongfully on trial for murder. As for Apartheid Week or month, Israel advocates were encouraged to build counter displays to the apartheid walls and other props, and eventually began employing the ill-advised Palestinian Apartheid Week. Not only do these countermeasures not stem the rising tide of the Jew hatred on campus, Jew hatred is at levels never seen before in the U.S. Why? Because these terrorist-styled propaganda measures were conceived and funded by entities that legally should never have had access to America's colleges and universities in the first place.
There is only one solution: Intifada revolution. Palestine will be free.
Students for Justice in Palestine, or SJP, was founded in 1992 by Palestinian activist and Berkeley professor Hatem Bazian.
It's about time that we have an intifada in this country that changes fundamentally the political dynamics. They're going to say it's the Palestinian being too radical. We haven't seen radicalism yet.
As noted by the Jerusalem Center for Public Affairs in their 2018 report, Students for Justice in Palestine Unmasked, SJP's founders, financial patrons, and ideological supporters have been linked to Islamist and Palestinian terror organizations such as Hamas, Hezbollah, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and the Marxist Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, PFLP. Many of these anti-Israel, terrorism-linked student groups fall under the umbrella of the Muslim Brotherhood, which was founded in Egypt in 1928. The Muslim Brotherhood's motto: Allah is our objective, the Prophet is our leader, Quran is our law, Jihad is our way, dying in the way of Allah is our highest hope. It has been well documented that the government of Qatar, among others, has been funding anti-Israel, anti-Semitic curricula and faculty, and much more on U.S. college campuses for years. Along with the Islamic Republic of Iran, Qatar is also among Hamas's top funders and hosts the terrorists in lavish penthouses in Doha. As author and journalist Caroline Glick reported, Qatar's money comes largely from the U.S. government, which pays billions to maintain the only U.S. airbase in the Middle East. The Institute for the Study of Global Antisemitism and Policy, ISGAP, has produced a comprehensive series of reports under the heading Qatar Funding of Higher Education. From the ISGAP website, on December 5th, 2023, U.S. House of Representatives committee members asked the presidents of 3 prestigious universities in the United States about the funding that they received from Qatar. The impression given by most of them was that their Qatari funding is not coming from the state. This answer is a partial truth, as billions of U.S. dollars are going to them via Qatari state-owned NGOs and commercial entities. ISGAP's Follow the Money project previous reports have laid out the following. Qatar is the largest foreign donor to the U.S. universities. The Muslim Brotherhood's Islamist ideology is intertwined with the state. And furthermore, the links that Qatar has with the Muslim Brotherhood's Palestinian chapter, Hamas. The money coming from foreign states such as Qatar is having a direct effect on increasing anti-Semitism and anti-democratic activity. This report lays out the way that Qatar is operating a war chest with between $500 billion to $1 trillion of assets and growing to affect soft power in the West, including the US's prestigious universities. While there were many mainstream media articles discussing the 3 Ivy League presidents and their hearing on Capitol Hill, there's been relatively little reporting about the billions in Qatari or Chinese funding flooding our colleges. Why? Could it be that the US politicians and the media are feigning concern about campus anti-Semitism without tackling some of the root causes? The Muslim Brotherhood ideology has been on US college campuses for decades. Sadly, when frontline warriors like Lebanese Christian Brigitte Gabriel, Somalian immigrant and former Muslim Ayaan Hirsi Ali, and American Muslim Dr. Zuhdi Jasser tried to warn Americans, they were often attacked as Islamophobes and extremists. Meanwhile, billions of dollars in funding from America's ideological enemies continue flooding our college campuses. Removing Ivy League presidents who refuse to protect the civil rights of Jewish students, while appropriate, doesn't even begin to address the deeper issue of possible U.S. government corruption. Long after Claudine Gay, Liz Magill, and Sally Kornbluth are gone, the systemic, communist, and Islamist-inspired Israel and America hatred that U.S. college students are force-fed will continue. Our education system is severely compromised and has been for many years. What's more, for those in the Israel-Palestine campus space, this stacked deck against our students is among the worst-kept secrets.
From CUNY to Gaza! From CUNY to Gaza! Mobilize the Intifada! Mobilize the Intifada!
Again, anti-Israel, anti-Semitic demonstrations on college campuses have been taking place for decades. However, in the last few years, and especially since October 7th, we have been witnessing the vilification, marginalization, attack, and killing of Jews on our streets. Post-October 7th, Hamas demonstrations have included Palestinian flags, Hezbollah flags, U.S. flag burnings, church invasions, physical attacks against Jews and Israel supporters, physical attacks against law enforcement, road and bridge blockings, the shutting down of airports, and chants of death to America. What started as attacks on Jews on college campuses is now attacks on America and Americans in the streets. As the late Rabbi Jonathan Sachs said, the hate that begins with Jews never ends with Jews. The battle that began in academia is now everyone's battle. As IBSI has said before, that battle can only be won by speaking and pursuing the truth.